Today I welcome a Tony and Grammy-winning star who is finally gracing the stages of Broadway again in The Color Purple. Oh, hello, Heather Headley.
Oh, hello, Paul. How you doing?
I have to tell you, when I started doing these interviews, you were on my list of people I really wanted to have on.
Yeah.
And then I started thinking, she's never coming back. I give up. I give up. Who? And I was like, who said something to Heather Headley? What did we say to her? What kept her away?
Well, I heard that you needed me to come back to do this, and so that's why I came back into The Color Purple.
Oh, just for this reason?
That's pretty much it.
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm leaving next week.
No. Yeah, I really started to think she's never coming back.
Yeah.
We gave her a Tony. She's done.
You got that run, right? Run.
But you are back,
Yeah.
and you are spectacular.
You're very kind.
In that beautiful production of The Color Purple.
You're very kind.
And it's so amazing to see you up and you're doing, and you know, I love Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah.
She sat here too.
Yeah.
And you're doing your own thing. It's totally different. It's really exciting to see. And I loved Elizabeth Withers, who opened the show originally.
Yes.
And it's so interesting to see actresses take on Shug Avery. I mean, she's like
Yeah.
such a rich character, right?
Definitely so. She's been a lot of fun, and I've come to figure her out. She's kind of taken over my body every now and then and said, this is what I need, and this is what I don't want you to do, and that kind of thing. Because she's a lot different from any person I've played before.
Yeah.
So it's been really interesting to see all these kind of these doors of her personality open. And I have to be very, very grateful to John Doyle, the director, because he was very good about saying, you know, carte blanche, just come on in, let's just start from afresh, which was a really scary thing for him to do a week after the Tony nominations when I was coming in. Yeah,
I mean, the show was a well-oiled machine, right?
Yes.
I mean, the cast had been doing it.
Yes.
And was that intimidating for you to be like, I'm here, I'm here to do my thing now, and they're all like, we've been doing our thing.
Yes, it's kind of like coming into the class, like halfway during the year, and you're coming into AP.
The new girl.
Yeah, AP class, and you're kind of like in the back of the class. And I really was not like, hey, I mean, it was more like, I'm just gonna tiptoe back here and do this. It is an incredibly oiled machine.
Yeah.
And the machine, it is led by Cynthia, and
Erivo,
there's Danielle, definitely so, and Isaiah and all these people surrounding it, you know?
Yeah.
And it's a naked show. That's how I see it. It's just completely naked. There's nothing to hide behind. You know, in my case, there's no Pride Rock or anything like that to say, well, the set will help my scene work this time. It's just completely naked. And definitely, I say this with all deference and in all humility, I've never replaced before.
Right.
Ever. I've never, you know, I've always kind of started.
Of course,
It was a little bit intimidating, but the cast has been amazingly encouraging and sweet, and they haven't fired me.
In fact, I'm sure they would love you to stay as long as you would like to stay. But yeah, it's a very bare bones production. It's just basically a bunch of chairs and a lot of talent.
Right.
That's what it is.
Right. Which it's amazing to me, Paul, because I think to myself, with all due respect, and I'm included in this list, I think sometimes as audience members, we have kind of attention deficit.
Right.
And because we are now of the 21st century, we're just kind of like, okay, let's see what the set's gonna do. Because the set is almost another cast member, if not the lead sometimes. So when I first saw the show, I walked in and I was like, these chairs are gonna start rolling down, and then they're gonna like place on the stage, and then they're gonna fly, and then they're gonna fly out of the theater.
You were looking for flying chairs.
Yeah, I was like, flying chairs, they're gonna come towards me, it's gonna be 3D chair. And then at the end of the show, I was like, wait, did this set not move?
Right.
And I was kind of like, how amazing is that? That you, as a director, to say, I don't mind, this is how it's gonna be. I'm gonna have the audience start working again. Nothing against the other shows, but the audience has to say, well, okay, time has passed. This is what it looks like. These are the different costumes in my head, you know, there's age here. And I think it's great. I think it's great for our audiences to have to say, and they understand it. They're smart enough to do that.
It's interesting because when you guys were doing Aida Out of Town,
Yeah.
they literally had an enormous pyramid on stage you guys were trying to work around.
Yes.
So that was definitely coming off the age of spectacle,
Yes.
and you know, you have to sort of like give people everything. So what do you think The Color Purple should be teaching us about how to make a hit? I mean, it's really like audiences, they like doing the work a little bit, right?
Yeah, and I think if you have a great story, you can have it naked.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of back to the Shakespeare time and back to our forefathers and foremothers of theater when they didn't have all that stuff. They really, when you think about it, I'm sure they just had chairs and tables.
Right.
And they came across and somebody was maybe running across the stage with something and you're like, oh, that's a swan.
Right.
You know, it's kind of Judy Taymor to a different extent. To say, I'm going to let you believe that this cheetah is moving on its own when you can see the person behind it. And so I do think that when the story's strong and when the talent is there, you can have a naked show.
Yeah. So Shug Avery, she is not like Heather Headley. Now Heather Headley is a good church-going girl.
I try to be.
Yeah. And Shug Avery, what is she? Is she a wanton woman? Is that a word? Wanton woman? Or she has history? She
has history.
She has a reputation.
She has a lot
there's a lot going on there. You might see ladies like her like show up for church every once in a while, maybe if they're dragged in
the back of the church.
But she's not one of your church friends.
No. But ironic that you would say such a thing, because somebody asked me the other day, well, who's she based on? Do you you know? And Paula had to sit down and think, do I know Shug Avery? You know what I mean? Like, I think to some extent I knew Aida, or Anala. And you think to yourself, well, do I know a Shug? And why don't I know Shug?
Right.
Why don't I know her in my life, you know? But she is a very complex character, and I've had to kind of go deal with her and figure her out and understand that I think she's a beautiful woman, and she is a great, a strong woman, but yet incredibly broken and incredibly needy of love, wanting it, for want of a better word. And I wanted to show that, just the how broken she is, and that she loves God, but she's been very disappointed by some people of God, you know, mainly her dad and the men in her life. But then how she kind of is the one to plant these seeds of just regeneration into Celie, to the fact that Celie can, in the end, fly. You know, so she's been great to figure out and to find out, and even for me to be able to figure out, well, why is it that do you know these people? And if you don't know them as such, like, because I think Shug has a great facade, which we all do. We all put up these you know, walls in front of us because we don't want people to know that we're broken or things hurt. And I think she's made me think, well, maybe these people that you see that are strong, there's this brokenness around, and maybe you need to lean in a little more, you know, with them. So she's been good. She's been a good teacher.
It's interesting.
Besides pushing the button.
I've heard you push the button. That's your showstopper. One of them. I've heard you talk about, because of your religious background, how it was interesting for you to figure out how to sing music that wasn't religious, or I've heard you sort of talk about that a little bit, and you even talked about your dad back in Trinidad, right? And your dad was a pastor. And I heard you say at one point, he said, "Thou shalt not lie in song." Like, don't lie. Like, that things have to be honest, right? So it made me wonder about playing roles like this, and
because but I think there's still the truth in it, because with Shug I have to tell the truth with her, and so in my life, I think when I'm singing in church, I think there were many times, like, I have some songs that in church I'm always scared to sing. Like, for instance, there's an old hymn called "It Is Well With My Soul," and there's another one, "I Surrender All," and I have always had a tough time kind of giving up the control, you know what I mean? And so he had said, don't lie when you sing. You need to not lie when you sing. And it's something that I've carried with me the entire time. And so for Shug, I think there is that too, that I want to be able to, when she sings these songs, you know, her character, to be as truthful as I can with her and with it, you know? So it's really been a kind of motto in my life for a long time.
But it's actually so much of the show is about God and about spirituality. And so you get to sing, you get to stand up there, and the audiences talk about church. I mean, the audiences are nuts, right?
Church. And John Doyle, Mr. Englishman himself, you would think the man was raised in the Black church, because from what I've heard in the beginning, he kind of said, I want the fourth wall kind of destroyed. And so when everybody comes out, as you well know, in the beginning, they literally invite the audience. You know, it's kind of like, you're here. We expect you to talk back to us. This is church. Let's just all have a great time. And then there are times that the audience is just like, oh yeah, we will speak back to you. Because we've heard like, girl, you better not. And no. and all that kind of stuff. So it's been, I love it though. The cast is so accustomed to it now that whenever, on the few days that we have a slightly quieter audience, you're like,
what happened? What happened?
What happened? Where
they
don't love us.
The thing the difference I noticed from seeing it when it opened and now is that now that it won the Tony, all the Upper East Side white ladies are feeling it. They're all feeling it in the seats. They were all having their moments. I loved it. I was everybody's doing it now. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. I'm like, come on. It's really beautiful to watch.
Yeah. We've been missing you. Have you been missing us at all? Have you missed Broadway? I mean, come on. It's been a long time, girl. We've seen you on the Grammys. And I saw you in London. I was at your opening night, The Bodyguard in London. I had to be there for that.
You should.
And oh my God, first of all, when you sang "I Will Always Love You," that was like it was like the Defying Gravity moment. They put you on it was like, I just remember you like hovering above the stage with 1,000 spotlights on you. It was crazy. It was crazy. Actually, I have a question.
I miss it.
I know that you've always talked about Whitney Houston as being sort of a huge inspiration for you. And so playing that role, obviously, and getting to sing all of those songs was a big deal for you.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about, again, back to the as a religious woman, when you look at someone like Whitney Houston, and then we all know so much about her now, and so much such like a dark side. And I was thinking about this a little bit with Shug Avery, and is that hard for you to reconcile? Someone who's like a hero of yours, and then you like find out about it was such a dark life that none of us really knew at the time, and now it's all sort of exposed.
But I think it's so funny that you would say that. I think it's the same thing with Shug. I think that's the brokenness.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying that I wish she didn't have it.
Yeah.
I wish there was something else, a different kind of brokenness to not take her from us that soon. Yeah. However, that's part of it. She's broken, and we heard that through the music, and she, maybe, as you said, maybe hid it a little bit. Yeah. But I think that was the part. It was hard in the beginning to reconcile, because I think as a child you were just kind of like, that's Whitney Houston.
Dazzled by
that's Whitney Houston.
Right.
That's Saint Whitney. That's Saint Whitney.
Right.
Like, you don't do anything. And so there's a point that you're like, ouch. But it also makes it real, because now as I'm older, we understand that I have my brokenness and that kind of thing. So it was tough. But doing that show was tough, because I place her on such a high pedestal. I really do believe that she is one of the best voices we've ever heard. Yeah. So it wasn't fun trying to walk in those heels.
Now, you told me when I saw you when you first started rehearsing Color Purple, and you told me that you had 2 boys.
Yeah.
So what are your boys' names?
John David and Jordan Chase.
Adorable. Mm-hmm. And they are adorable. And
thank you.
One of your sons he was kind of like, what, they want you to do?
Yeah.
Broadway mommy? Like, he was just kind of like, what? Why you?
Yeah.
Has he caught on? I mean, the critics have all come and raved. The audiences are flipping out. Everyone has fallen back in love with Heather Headley. Yeah. How is your son feeling about you?
He's kind of still in the middle. The other night,
have they seen the show?
He saw the show, and Daddy kind of talked him through it, and let him know that there's this person called Celie, and Mommy has to love Celie, and this man treats Celie very badly. And so when he comes to the theater, because he has a dressing room at the theater, he comes to the theater and he hangs out. He's more interested in Cynthia than he is. I mean, he literally stops at her door. He's like, "Hi, Miss Cynthia." Mom. Yeah, he's like, "Hi, Miss Cynthia. How are you?" And I think he has a really soft heart. I really do believe it's because he's seen the show and he thinks that he's like, "Oh, Cynthia, poor Cynthia." And he's like,
been through
she's been through it. So he does, and they've got the sweetest relationship. Like, I took a picture of the two of them the other day. She's in her silly outfit. He's like laid back in my chair watching TV, and she's just talking to him. And I'm like, and he's like, "This is Peppa Pig," and I'm like, Cynthia has a show to do with her Tony. Like, she doesn't do, but they have a really sweet relationship.
Brian Musso, your husband, he's a big cheerleader of yours. I know he sort of like told you, go do The Bodyguard, and you told me you went to see Color Purple, and he's like, you have to do this.
Yeah.
And he was a Jet, and let me be really clear, not a lot of musical theater actresses might end up marrying like a Jet, like Sharks in the Jets, but he was a New York Jet, New York Jet, like a football dude.
Yeah.
And you went to college together.
Yeah.
So you saw him like become a Jet? Like
I saw him become a Jet.
So and when you were in Northwestern,
yeah.
How did he win you over? Like
he did.
Did the romance not start then? It was.
We were good friends. So at Northwestern University, we do this amazing show called the WAMU Show, and the students write the show, but a director, a known director, comes in and has a very big budget, and it's a big deal on campus every year for us to get in, and so you want to get into WAMU, and the football team had just gone to the Rose Bowl, won the Rose Bowl first time in like 69,000 years. And so they wrote these stinkers into the show, much to my anger, because the year before it was WAMU featuring Heather Headley, you know, bleh. And then this year it was like WAMU featuring the football players. Who cares if Heather shows up? It's just like all the way, and I'm like,
hope you got at least a box around your name.
Nothing,
you got to negotiate the box.
Nothing. No negotiation. It's college, right? College pay, nothing. So nothing. They were just like, oh, who cares about her? And so I was very upset that, you know. Yeah. And so then I remember the night, Paul, that they showed up for practice. And with all due respect, the other guys are a little differently built than.
Yes. Yes. I know.
And so you could hear them almost like coming like wild boar, like just boom,
wild boar.
And they showed up like all this man, like this a ton of man, because it was just the whole team, and so and we were all like
almost like a smell to it.
Just smell,
yeah,
man, just a lot of man.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I hate you even more. And then they were nice. They were just like, oh, we think you guys are just the best. Necks can't move, and we just think you get. And I was like, you're nice? I hate you even more. And so then we kind of all moved. I was trying to tell him who to date. He would tell me who to date. I ended up at Ragtime, you know, doing Ragtime. Yep. And then he went to play for the Jets. I was at Lion King. And we would, for want of a better word, we would like pimp each other's tickets. So I'd be like, my crew need Jets tickets. And he's like, well, you know, Corbett and Vinny need tickets.
You were swapping Broadway show tickets for Jets tickets? Totally different crowds.
I was swapping tickets because you couldn't get tickets to the Lion King.
Right.
And so then we became friends. During Aida, everybody would say, oh, you should date somebody. I was like, I don't want to date somebody, you know. But if I would date somebody, it would be Brian. Just not him. He's my friend, you know. And then we started dating, and he's the best husband. He's the best friend. He's an amazing father. I couldn't imagine life without him. He's the best. And he does kick me out the door. He's such a champion. Yeah. I don't call him, I can't call him a fan, but such a support, you know, and sits with me and just says, you can sing that better. And because he's not a singer, right, I just know that he's there from the ears of Joe Schmo. Right. It moves him. So he's just been the best. And his family.
A big pal of man.
Yeah. Just a ton of man.
Yeah. And so you guys had this whole life in Chicago, right? In the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah.
Were you ever just like completely just like a housewife? I mean, I know you've done a lot of like music stuff, and you've done. I know you did like Into the Woods last year. I didn't get to see that, but I saw it on YouTube, so I got to see as much as I could. But yeah, I mean, was there any like period where you were just like, I'm just raising these kids and not about show business, or?
I think when the boys were first born, like I had no choice, but because the schedule, my concert schedules and stuff would be on the weekends, I would be there. Okay. So we had a neighbor at one point, because I don't tell everybody what we do. And so, like, our neighbor, he was, God rest his soul, he's 80-something at the time. Oh. And one day he came over and he said, what do you do? Because black cars keep coming in here at 5 o'clock in the morning and 3 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, you're never home. You guys bought this house because we had no kids. He's like, you're never home. And these big men keep coming to the door every night. Because Brian's football buddies would come over every now and then. And I was never there. And I was like, oh.
He thought he had a Shug Avery on his hands in the hood.
Exactly. He thought we were like drug dealers or something. He's like, what do you do? Because I'm
Showbiz.
He's like, I'm not going to have it. And I was like, well, Mr. Flash, I was like, and he takes me, I was like, well, I sing? And he's like, because that was me with my, like, I was in the yard, like, digging stuff and come to the door, and he's like, I was like, well, I'll bring you some stuff. I'll bring my computer.
I'll bring you my trophies.
I'll bring you my Tony.
Spin my Tony for you.
As a matter of fact, I'll be on TV this weekend, and you can see it. And he's like, But then we explained, and he was okay. But yeah, for a while. But during the week, I actually enjoy that part of it, and I think that's why, especially my elder son, has no care in the world, because he's like, you're supposed to make me cookies, and you know. And he comes in the room if I'm warming up, and he's like, Mom, I cannot hear myself think. Please stop, because he doesn't understand. Why would you sing in the house? You have no job. Why are you singing? Like, why? And I'm like, they need me on the weekend. He's like, no, they don't. So yeah, it's been great to have those two worlds to, you know, and sometimes I need it. I really do. Like at this point, you're doing the show, and then there are times that I just need to go home and say, okay, I'll just cook for them. Is it okay though, for now that you've given us a taste of the Heather Headley on Broadway, now we're going to start dreamcasting you? I mean, now it's like now you've just opened the floodgates again. I know. I'm serious, because now we want more. I know, and I'm incredibly humbled and grateful for that. Yeah. I was telling somebody the other day that I knew I missed it. You know, when people would say, "Do you miss Broadway?" Yeah, I miss it. But you know, I get my kicks out. You know, I do these arena things, and I'm with Andrea, and I get my shows, and I go to London, and I do it. I'm doing okay. I got it. You know, it's fine. And then May 10th, I walked out there, and I didn't really know Paul. Like, I don't know how. I remember thinking, I don't know how they're going to react to me. Like, how's this going to be? It's kind of like your sister comes back for a while, and you could be like, "Oh hey." And you've been there before, just, hey. What's up? How you doing? Or, you know, or just turning your back, and so I was like, I don't know who I'm gonna meet in the house. And I just, before they even said a word, before they applauded, before they said anything, I remember just hitting the stage and being like, oh, I missed it. It's like good home cooking, I missed it. So yeah, I've missed being here, so it's not gonna be that long anymore. Good, okay. Yeah. Because I missed you. I'm going to hold you to it. Are you kidding me? So you're there for how long? I'm supposed to be there just through the summer, because that's what was asked. Labor Day-ish? Labor Day-ish. I may extend for a few more weeks to make sure everything, you know, they get everything. Mid-September-ish. Yes, mid-September-ish. There's no exact date yet. No exact, but it'll be towards the end of September. But I've fallen in love with everybody, and Cynthia and Danielle and the entire cast, and even the backstage cast. I'm in love with them. So I might stay a few weeks more. And has it been crazy watching Cynthia have her Heather Headley moment and win the Tony? And it was, you know, all of a sudden, you know how sometimes you need to see somebody else go through it to be like, right, that's what I was going, oh my gosh, that's what I was going through. Because while you're in it, you're just, you know, and so you don't know. And so it was, I remember the day of the Tonys, I was singing Too Beautiful for Words for her, and I broke down crying, because her mom was in the house. She was which is what I took my mommy, and just looking at her and knowing what she had, you know, the Tony voting season, how tough that can be, and everything she was going through, and dealing with her and Danielle. And I remember just kind of looking at her like, it's done. And I remember she was kind of like Celie and Cynthia all at the same time. She was just kind of standing there looking at me, and I was just like, I broke down crying. But it was great to see her have that moment, and also to be a kind of big sister for them and help walk them through that moment, you know, because I remembered how tough it can be. It can be a little crazy. Well, I'm thrilled. I'm so thrilled you're back, and I hope you come back. And everyone, Cynthia Erivo still in Color Purple, Danielle Brooks still in it, and Heather Headley's there. Yes. And everyone needs to check it out. If you saw it before, you should go see it again. You should actually. This is like a show. It's amazing how many like theater fans in their 20s are discovering the show and like seeing it over and over and over. I mean, people just keep coming back, right? Yes, we have some fans the other day, and I write on his playbill every time he comes. I wrote 29 the other 29 day. Times? 29 times that he'd seen the show. Wow. And I really don't think that's enough. Right. It's a beautiful show. it is truly, truly beautiful. It is beautiful. And you are stunning. You're very kind. Was so good to see you. And thank you so much for being here. No, my pleasure. And I hope to see you again soon. Anytime. It was good to sit with you in your little living, very Anytime cool you want to just stop by whenever you want. There's always a warm seat for you. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.